In today's video, we're going to talk to you about Laneway Design. For the walking cow, much of the traumatic lameness can be traced back to the laneways and more specifically to their design and maintenance. It is the section closest to the milking parlour that is the most important. This is where the cows may be under the most pressure, and it is the part of the laneway they use for every milking. Laneways should be constructed wide enough, well drained and well shaped. Make sure the walking surface will be wide enough for the number of cows in your herd. Laneway problems can essentially fall into three main categories: the walking surface, crowning and drainage. Where the cows walk more than a total of 2 kilometres each day, it's really important that the laneways are well maintained and that the surface is non-damaging. For a laneway to last, you must have a good base underneath. The base should be made of a coarse material built up above the paddock for good drainage. The base must be crowned to a maximum of a 5% slope and then compacted. A vibrating roller at a slow speed is best. The cows actually prefer the laneway to be level. Measure the slope by using a flat piece of wood or a shovel handle, and then use a tape measure to see what the slope actually is. If the slope is greater than 5%, then it is too steep. Then we add a surface layer. The purpose of the walking surface is to shed water and to be a comfortable surface for the cows to walk on. The surface layer itself must be of finer material than the base, with a clay content of 15 to 30% and at least 50 ml thick, but no more than a max of 100 ml. The compaction of the top is essential to shed water. Good drainage takes the water off and away from the laneway. Dig drains on the paddock side of the laneway fence so that the cows do not walk in them, or place outriggers along the fences to stop the cows getting their feet in the drains. Grass build-up along the edges of the laneway is good, and you should leave it there. This also helps to hold the edges of the laneway together. But the problem is that it prevents water draining off the laneway. So you solve this problem by scooping out short sections and creating a dam to let the water escape and direct it off the laneway. Another problem area is just before the concrete apron or the yard itself. This is a high traffic area and often poorly drained. It will need special attention to drainage and more maintenance to the top surface. A nib wall on the concrete laneway junction is helpful to prevent washdown water flowing onto the laneway area. To reduce gravel being carried onto the concrete by the cow's feet, you should spread 50 to 100 metres of some fine product such as lime and well compacted as a transition surface immediately before the concrete junction. Ideally, areas where several laneways meet, or turning areas where vehicles also turn, should be concrete. Underpasses are likely to be problem areas also. The main problem is gravel rolling down to the lowest point. The gravel could have been carried down off the laneway approaches or have fallen down from the sides of the cutting. To solve this problem, lay concrete from the underpass right up to the top of the slope on both sides. Gravel from the banks can be stopped from rolling onto the concrete surface with sandbags along each side of the laneway or by concreting the banks themselves. Shaded areas are always a problem because they stay wet longer. The drying effect of both sun and the wind is reduced. The continually wet laneway disintegrates even more quickly. Hedges and vegetation growing along the edge of a laneway make side drains hard to construct and harder to maintain. Solve this problem by removing both hedges and trees that are causing issues, particularly those shading the laneway nearer the milking parlour or near the high traffic areas. Sometimes there is no immediate solution to your problem. It could just be a temporary problem, waiting for good weather to be able to use machinery, or it could be an unavoidable problem such as a road crossing. The best solution in these situations is to be very patient and allow cows to pick their way through at their own pace. And here's a really nice laneway. It's wide enough, and the surface is a good surface for the cows to walk on. It's crowned, the water gets to the edges of the race, and it drains to take it away. And the cows love it. For more information on the Healthy Hooves project, you should visit the Dairy Australia website.